Everyone, I got Summer Breeze in the house with me in studio right now. You won't find two people who know how to run a roofing company more effectively and efficiently than these two right here. Stay tuned if you want to learn the secrets behind growing a great reputation in roofing. All right, like I said, I got my friends here from Summer Breeze. Really excited to be here with you guys. Not just because I'm fortunate enough to work with y'all, but also fortunate enough to break bread with you guys previously. I know what amazing people you guys are and be able to pick your brain a little bit about some of the trends and what we got going on in the roofing industry. So for some people who don't know you, can you guys introduce yourself first, your company, who you are, where you come from, what exactly it's all about?
Yeah, Summer Breeze Roofing. I'm Charles Dixon. I'm the qualifier of that company. It's a family-owned company for 25 years in Largo area. That's where it started. We're certainly branching out to other areas. I'm state certified, so we can go anywhere in state Florida. We do all types of roofing, commercial and residential, tile, metal, flat, built up. We try to stay away from built up because it's hot mop. We don't want anything to do with that. But any kind of roofing you have, we'll take care of it, except for aluminum. Mm-hmm. We don't do aluminum type roofing. That's a specialty contractor.
And so you've been doing this for over 20 years then, right? Correct?
Over 25.
Over 25 years.
Yeah, I'm an old guy, man.
So tell me this. I mean, how have you been able to, and I want to get to your backstory in just a second, but can you give me a quick synopsis? Because roofing contractors, they come and they go. You know, you see somebody who's around for 1 year and then they're gone the next. What do you think it is about Summer Breeze that's been able to make you last 25 years plus in the industry?
Well, certainly doing what you're supposed to do what the contract says. As long as you treat people right, they treat you right. If there's issues, we go back and take care of it. If we can't, we get someone else involved to take care of it. We don't ever leave it hanging. So that in itself speaks volumes. When someone has a leak, we answer the phone and we go take care of it. A lot of these guys, they're in and out because they do terrible workmanship, and then it rains and everybody starts calling, and then he gets inundated, he shuts down, and he don't want any part of it anymore.
Yeah, he's gone.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to run than just go ahead and fix the problems.
Ain't that the truth? So what about you, Z? How do you get involved with this entire thing?
Well, I was in construction risk management for 25 years, and Charles, I really admire what he does. I became a licensed home inspector, worked for some GCs, but I really wanted to get into roofing and roofing sales. So pairing up with somebody who knows the business, how he handles his moral compass, just his whole philosophy on how customers are, to get out there, get my hands dirty, really learn from the master, and to have the experience necessary so that, now that I'm pursuing my license through Charles, I'm able to start really understanding what it is I'm saying. One thing Charles also didn't mention is we do repair work with our minimums.
Right.
So sometimes, and I've seen Charles sometimes talk people out of roofs because they don't quite need a roof. There's roof life there. So I really value his moral compass with customers. I think that's what makes him different from other roofers. He's gone up, taken the leaves out of the gutters and the valleys and said, that's all you needed. You just had that problem for that. Yep. So I've never seen him not interact with a customer and just explain it. Here's the problem, here's the solution, and this is what I'm going to do.
I see a lot of this in the roofing industry where these big box roofers, and you guys have all seen them, they'll take somebody off the street, they don't know anything about roofing. They'll put them into a one-day class about roofing, and then they'll say, go out there and sell the roof. That's not the way that you guys do business at Summer Breeze. You guys know the business, you know the roof. Charles, when you get out there, you're walking the roof with the individual. It's not just here, 1 day of training, go out there and just try to sell a roof and advise somebody how to rip off a third of their house.
Patrick, I've worked for other contractors, and what I value about Charles is he taught me that you have to get up on that roof and feel it. Look at it, feel it, see it, look for potential issues and problems, check out the decking. So people who use drones, people who are just sitting at home, they use RoofR or they use the other companies for sky measures, they're not up there seeing any kind of potential problems, are really doing their clients a disservice. Mm-hmm. So when I see how he trains people and the experience and knowledge that he brings to the table so that you're just not sitting there going, I wouldn't know what to do, they're not left in the dark.
Yeah.
And that makes all the difference
So
in the
true.
world. I've learned how to get over that ladder fear height. You being
Yeah.
tall don't understand that.
Charles, have you ever found it hard though? I mean, there's got to be that side of people that you want the money, and when doing what you do, they trust you. You've got longevity in the community, and so there's always that person who says, "Hey, listen, if you tell me, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. If you tell me that's what I need, I'm going to do it." Have you ever found it difficult to steer away from, or is that just ingrained in your personality and who you are?
Yep, that's who I am. That's in my DNA. I'm going to guide them in the right direction. They'll never get ripped off because that's not my business. I've had my roofing license a long time, and $10,000 job is not worth losing my license ever.
And more people need to have. I think, unfortunately, what we have in our industry is this side where the owner is not involved with the day-to-day operations of the company, and you've got sales reps out there chasing the dollar because they want to get as much as they can from the insurance company, or they want to drive the per square amount up as high as they can on that individual and the roofer, because that's more commissions in their pocket. But I think that what people need to understand is if you're able to help somebody and truly advise them on the right thing to do, it's going to come back at you tenfold. In the short term, you may not win, but in the long term, you're going to win doing business the right way.
Oh, absolutely. I've always said, if you do right, right comes back at you.
Yep.
And it seems to have worked all these years for me. I talk myself out of jobs, like Yara said, and that's only because that's the right thing to do. If people have years of life left, why would you throw it in the trash is the way I see it? So I talk them out of a roof. But of course, they remember that
It's
when they do
unbelievable.
need the roof. And then we don't know who we're talking to when we're out there. We don't know who they know. And so word of mouth is very important.
I got to share a funny story with
Tell
you,
me.
Patrick.
I love it.
So we get a metal lead. This guy really wants a metal quote for his house. Beautiful home. It's sitting on a lake. The wife wants a metal roof. We take this lead. We get there. And Charles is like, why would you want to throw away the shingle that's up there that has what, Charles? How many?
25 years.
Had 25 years of
It's a
life
new roof.
just to put metal on your roof. You know what? Don't do that. You're just throwing money away. He had other guys come out to give quotes, but he looked at Charles and he said, "You're the only person who told me that's what I should wait and do." So there's times, as much as I'd like to have a sale, have more roofs under my belt, there's just times when it's the right thing to do. But that's how you build a referral network. And that's when people start going, yeah, you guys are the people to call, because they know, or they're going to refer a friend, or they're going to tell us, hey, in the future, they may know somebody. And those calls come in because you're constantly doing the right thing. Another sales guy would be like, what kind of color do you want? Let's slap it on. I'll have it done in 2 weeks, and I'm out the door. But when you really say, look, it's up to you. You want to throw away $35,000, but you've got a great roof right now.
Yeah.
And it goes to estimating as well. Like, we'll go to do the estimate, and I'm not one of those hard pressure guys at all. I'll give them their estimate, and I'll tell them, get the reform. I mean, I don't care. But if we can help you, call us back. I am not a hard closer.
Have you always had that confidence in your ability to close like that? Because, I mean, let me give you an example. Some of the people who watch this show, a lot of them who do, are sales reps, okay? They're young, they're in the game, maybe they're just getting started. They're going through ups and downs. And it's real easy to have that confidence that, hey, do what you want to do, I'm here for you, when you got the roofs that you have under your belt and the time and the confidence in yourself. How do you get that when you're first starting out? Does it take time, or is there something that clicked for you in your head as you were in the industry?
That's either something you have or you don't have. I had it. I mean,
Yep.
from the very beginning, I've been that way. I mean, my very first day was that way. I've never been a pressure guy, period. And I encourage them to get more estimates. Like I said, but make sure we're doing apples to apples. And if you have questions, call me. And if you don't take my estimate and you go with someone else and you have questions, I'll be glad to answer them for you anyway.
And he has done that.
That's great,
And
man.
I think a lot of business owners or contractors with their sales teams, they have quotas. They want to push these people to be the best. Get out on the street. You better have 5 roofs by the end of 2 weeks, because if you don't, you suck as a salesperson. But it goes back to retention, the quality that the salesperson's giving. You might have someone who's a little slower, but they're taking their time to build up a true, really good book and a different avenue with how they're getting sales leads, rather than the guy who I've got, I did 10 contracts this week, but he doesn't have any checks he's bringing back to the office, or he was so, maybe he underbid the projects, and there's going to be long-term headaches. So it's not always, the owners need to look at their sales team and say, okay, this one we can train because we know it might take a little longer, but their heart's in the right place, so to speak. And then you have, then you have the storm chasers who are like, hey, there's a storm, we got to get out there and roll with as many roofs as we can.
I think it comes down to the values as an owner that you disseminate down to everybody else in your company. If it's all about the sales, and it's all about the numbers game that you have, then people are going to try to push through things they shouldn't push through. And I really don't blame the sales rep for that. You're looking at that going, I've got to put food on the table. I know I've got to sell 5 roofs this week if I want to stick around. So I'm going to push this one through for somebody because that's what I'm being told to do. I need to hit this minimum. So I think that comes down to culture, like you're talking about. What kind of culture do you develop within your company? And obviously you guys have done something right. I don't think there's any roofing company that I've been able to find that has more 5-star reviews on Google than what Summer Breeze does. Just the incredible amount of happy, satisfied, above and beyond customers you have. You've done something right with the culture. What, Charles, can you speak to a little bit about what kind of culture you want to develop at Summer Breeze? When people think about it, what do you want to be in their head?
Well, like I said, it's a family-owned business, so it's more geared toward the family. I mean, we're not out there to sell a bunch of jobs. Well, sure, we like money just like everybody else does, but we want to do the right thing. And of course, I forgot to include, we're all-inclusive roofing. When we go there, when we give them a price, that's it. That's a done deal. A lot of contractors, they have an open-end contract, meaning at the end, they come back and they have $2,000 worth of woodwork that gets put into that. Well, we don't do that. That's why we walk every roof to know what we're up against. Or when we give them a price, say that's it, that's all you'll pay. And if we made a mistake, we're going to eat that mistake. We never ask for more.
So for my roofing contractors that are listening, this is an incredible thing that they are doing, an all-in-one roofing solution, because the reason that people don't do that, in my opinion, is because they're not knowledgeable when it comes to roofing. They're sending somebody else out there to do the job. They don't understand the roof, so they've got to go ahead and leave contingencies on the back end of their agreement for the things that they don't see, the things that are unexpected, which could definitely have been expected if they would have gotten up there, walked, smelled, felt the roof, from the inside out. And I think that's the problem that we have a lot with these contingency agreements that are out there for individuals. And that's not something that y'all do. It's an all-in roofing price.
Absolutely. And a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll shoot that lower price at the beginning, but then they'll make that back up on the woodwork. And that's where their extra dollars are coming back into.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Work that way.
It's a great way to work right there, I'll tell you.
Everybody seems to love it.
Yeah, but they do. I think it's amazing because your pricing is up front. And it's not like, you're sitting there going, well, there might be this charge on the back end. That's a terrible place to be in. And I see it all the time with sales reps where they have to initial that little box. And they go, well, don't worry. We'll deal with that when it comes. And then you say you got $2,000 on the back end that somebody doesn't expect. That's a really easy way to ruin a deal right there.
And then everybody's unhappy at that point, and then they'll tell all their friends they know, don't use whoever. But we want to make our customers happy where they refer us to everybody.
Yeah, and so you guys have been able to dominate when it comes to referral business. What does the future look like for you guys right now? I want to switch to where are you going right now with Summer Breeze? How's it going to be? Are you going to stick over in the West Coast area? Are you planning on moving over to Central Florida, North? What's the future look like?
I think the future is that we like to roof everywhere, and it depends on the projects. I mean, we've gone down to the Keys, we've done different coasts. It really depends on the projects. We're not looking to dominate every single city. That's definitely not our goal. No. But we have pods, and I guess we can call them sales pods in different locations, and just kind of take on as things solidify in certain counties. Just keep going, but we do projects anywhere.
So what's been the biggest challenge then? I mean, you've got to keep your brand, obviously, while still continuing to grow. Quality has got to be there. So there's a lot of different things as you continue to grow that have to stay steady. So what has been the biggest challenge for Summer Breeze as you guys have grown in the state of Florida? And, as a partnership that you guys have, what's been the biggest challenges in making that happen?
I don't know. Lead generation.
Lead
perhaps? That would
generation,
be the number
probably.
one.
Well, that's what a lot of roofers
they are.
deal with that. So how have you guys been able to tackle that? Because that's a problem.
I'm gonna
Everyone
give you
wants
my
more
special-
leads. Everyone
I'm gonna
wants
give you
more
my
sales.
special sauce, Patrick.
No, just give me the roundabout. Give me a 50,000 foot overview.
You know, I really
What
started.
did you look at?
Well, I'll tell you from the repair point of view, because you know there's a lot of people, a lot of roofers don't do repairs, and the funny thing is there's a lot
Crazy.
of money in repairs.
Crazy.
But I started using Nextdoor, which for me works. I mean, we just went on a repair the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and then I sent out the quote, and she just confirmed it this morning. But I think it's really staying on top of your, you know, if you're going to go in a non-retail environment, your HOAs, your, you know, you just let people know what you do. I'm constantly on Facebook. I'm constantly in groups. I'm constantly always marketing myself that this is what I love to do. This is what I do. Start going to those neighborhoods, you know, start, you know, I'm a real big fan of Rebecca Schweitzer. I love her process.
She's on the show next week.
I love her.
Yeah.
So I think you really just, you can buy leads. Some lead services work, but I think you get to a point where you really just got to kind of go out there, be the army, and just tell everybody what you do. What you do.
Yeah.
One way, whether it's social media, the YouTube videos, you really have to just kind of start engaging and building that reputation up, and then just keep going and going and going.
Now, Becca's killer at sales.
She
We know
is.
that. So, what do you think? What do you think holds people back when it comes to sales? Is it they're afraid to hear no from somebody? Is that they don't believe in their product? What do you think the number one thing is sales that why sales people in this industry just turn over as quickly as they do? What's the reason for that in roofing?
Well, you got to remember, you know, Patrick, you said this is a commission-based business. It's commission-based. Not everybody can wait. Not everybody has somebody to fall back on, to start out a roofing career. You know, owners aren't going, okay, you know, maybe there's some owners who do a draw process so the guys can get through. But it is tough. And so I think, you know, plus it's not a job for everybody. Because it's a difficult task to constantly learn what they need to do. Or they see stars in the sky with a storm come through. I'm going to leave what I'm doing and I'm going to go chase that storm like everybody else.
Yeah.
I can't answer that. Can you answer that?
Yeah, training. That's
point.
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
can't just throw them out there. You got to go with them, and you have to train them your way. And of course, we have our book that we tell the story.
Yes.
And they have to feel comfortable and knowledgeable. And I mean, if they're natural at it, it's easy. It's just easy to do. But if you're really not a good salesperson, you probably need another occupation anyway.
Yeah. I had somebody on Roof Hustler. Deshaun was on a couple weeks ago, and he made a good point. He's like, people don't learn sales. They mimic what they see. He's like, if they're out there, you're not learning from that person. You're mimicking what they're doing in front of a homeowner is really how people are learning out there. So if you're going out there and you're teaching somebody the bad habits and they already are not a natural, and then you send them out there on their own after one day of training, I mean, you're basically sending them out there to die. I mean, good luck with that.
We don't like to set them up for failure.
No.
We like to set them up to win. Because if they win, everybody wins. Homeowner wins, we win, he wins.
And that's where I think roofing contractors have got to invest more into their training. It would be better for the entire industry in a whole if there were more professional, more knowledgeable individuals out there knocking doors. Right now, you have people that come in and they leave, and that gives the industry a bad name. I had a gym owner where I go. He pulls me over to the side, saw one of the videos, and he says, "Hey, Patrick, I had a problem with this roof. My girlfriend, she's been thrown through 3 different sales reps. I think it's in litigation. I really don't know what's happening with the roof right now. But I saw the recline of yours. Can you let me know what's going on with it?" And that's not uncommon because people come and they go, and you sat at the dining room table with somebody. You gave them promises and assurances because that's what you were told to do. And 2 weeks later, you're no longer around anymore. That's not easy on a homeowner. And, you know, that's what gives the reputation in the industry a tough go of it. Because you know, it's difficult to recover from that if you're a company, the reputation, because you haven't held that person's hand and made them feel comfortable through the process. So let me talk about how we met. So obviously, I don't just do this whole entire podcast all day, although I wish I could. I have a company called My Claims Care. So we work with insurance claims, as you guys know. That was a new thing for you guys to jump into, correct?
Yes.
So why not, Charles? I mean, you've been around. Why no insurance? I know the answer to this, but why have you stuck away from doing insurance previously in the past?
Well, you already know the answer.
I do. I do, but that's why I'm asking you, though.
It's all about the money.
Yep.
The job's one thing, but insurance claims, you go in there and you have to front all the jobs with your money.
Yep.
And that gets tough. You get 10 jobs out there, that's a lot of money hanging out of your pocket waiting for insurance to turn around and give you your money back. And that's why we like to partner up with you.
Yeah.
Because you close that gap for us.
And that's a problem that a lot of roofing contractors have. It's sometimes it's easy when you have 1 to 5 roofs, but then when you try to grow to 10 roofs, you've got the hard costs that continue to be there that are due. And when you're waiting on checks, now you're out $100,000 and you're sitting there and you're waiting on this money. Yeah, maybe you're going to get it in a couple of weeks or not. Maybe it's going to be a couple of months. What we try to do, like you say, is bridge that gap and turn insurance into retail. So can you give me a little bit of an idea? I know that Zeke, you've worked insurance before, I believe, right?
Yes.
What were some of the problems that you had when you were dealing with insurance companies, mortgages? What were some of the problems with insurance you had in the past?
Well, that's the problem, is that you're fighting a claims adjuster. Their goal is not to spend money, and the homeowner's goal is to get what they want. And you're going to constantly fight with the paperwork. You're going to constantly, the emails that go back and forth. You're going to constantly struggle with everything you have to prove and the time that you have to put into it. Mm-hmm. Insurance companies want to pay as little as they can, but they don't want to give anything to the contractor above and beyond what he might truly need.
Yep.
And so it's a constant, insurance is a constant, you have to have it, but it's a constant battle, Patrick.
Yeah, they're the biggest bank or the biggest building downtown for a reason. It's not because they're paying out high premiums. They're fighting it every step of the way. What I find ironic and sad about the situation is that you have homeowners who pay their premiums, and then you would expect that insurance company, because they get paid their premiums, are going to do everything they can to take care of that homeowner. In reality, that's not the case. In reality, it's usually, if you have got a good contractor, the contractor that's fighting on behalf of the homeowner against the insurance company. Somebody told me the other day, you're not in good hands, I assure you, okay? What they're trying to do is not pay you that money. So, working with someone like Summer Breeze is where I think people need to go, because you are fighting on the homeowner's behalf. You are working for them against the insurance company, and then partnered with My Claims Care. Once we get that thing approved, we can put the roof on right away, and you guys are paid for it. There's none of that gap in time that we have to worry about when it comes to payment.
Right. Yeah, and another thing we didn't like about this insurance business before we mentioned, of course, is if you get 5 jobs out there, and a small guy's not going to have a lot of money to cash flow to float all the jobs. So what he does, he starts to do a job account with the supplier, meaning the supplier will put a lien on that property. He'll give you the materials, but they're going to put a lien on that property. And when the homeowner gets that notice of lien, of course, it gets ugly then, because now all of a sudden they're afraid that you've done something wrong.
Yep.
And it's just not a good thing.
That's a terrible feeling if you're a homeowner.
Oh, yeah.
If you figure you've got a lien on your property, you did nothing wrong, you're waiting on insurance proceeds, and yet your contractor doesn't have the money to float it. What that also means is that contractor doesn't have the money to pay maybe labor. He didn't have the money to pay the materials, and that contractor is now out and they're waiting. Now they're in a panic. And if you want to talk about quality of life, there is no quality of life when you're sitting there and you're in the hole $100,000 waiting on checks to come in from an insurance company.
Oh, yeah. You're dead in the water at that point, because if you don't have that 100,000, you're stopped. You have nowhere else to go.
Right.
Sit there and wait.
That's all you can do.
Yeah,
and you can't grow. And so that's what we try to do, try to help the growth. And I'm glad we got a chance to partner with you guys, because I've said before, reputation is everything. One of the big problems in the roofing industry is workmanship when it comes to insurance claims and being able to make sure you get paid. People get that depreciation check on the back end and they go, hey, you know what? I don't really like the way this drip edge looks right here. I don't think I'm going to pay you for it. I'm going to take this money. And that's something that you don't have to worry about with Summer Breeze. That's what I want to talk about, your production. It's not you guys up there nailing down the shingle. You've got great people that do. How do you find such excellent people? Is it because of a long-term relationship? Is it the training? Is it the oversight? What has allowed you guys to have such great production?
Well, it accrues. Excuse me, you don't know. When you get them, you don't know. So you have to babysit them. That's what you have to do. Watch over and make sure what they're doing, and they're doing everything correctly. And then you get a rapport with them, and you move on. Your next crew the same way. It has to be that. And as far as us not getting up on the roof, and actually doing the work. That's not true. I still get there myself and
Man.
do work.
And that's not true that I don't, because I help.
Yeah, I make her go up there and help.
So-
That's. I mean, I
that's
wish
true.
I wish that was the norm in the industry, but we all know, anybody watching this, it's not the norm. Most of the time, you've got a sales rep who sits out there in front of his truck on his computer, waiting for someone to walk by so they can talk to him, and they're just looking up at the install, not having a thing to do with it. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. And then I feel bad because I see homeowners, and I call it the bait and switch. The sales rep goes out there and gives a great pitch. Wonderful person. We love this young man. He's an amazing person. This young lady is great. And then now it's time for, a few months later, it's time to put the roof on. And they're nowhere to be found. And so now they're ripping off a roof. No one speaks English for that individual, so they can't communicate with anybody that's out there. They're trying to call the office, but that person's already moved on to selling another roof. And that right there, the level of anxiety that must go up through a homeowner's in their mind when I can't reach anybody, I can't talk to anybody. A third of my house is being ripped off in front of me right now, and I have no idea whether it's being done correctly or they're botching this entire thing.
Well, let's talk about that because I've been on both sides of the fence working for other roofing contractors. When you sell something, if you immediately pass it off, it goes to production. From there, you're right. That salesperson has moved on. And it's not because the salesperson generally feels that they can't step in. It's usually, that's how the company operates. Oh, yeah, well, you wrote the sale, a little pat on the back, it's gone to production. And for whatever reason, if they can't reach, they're going to call the person they made the relationship with. Can you tell me what day I'm scheduled for this? Hey, they need to know pre-hand should I move my cars? What do I need to do to prep for this roof, right? Because people aren't telling them that. The salesperson, hopefully production, there are companies that, production's on top of it to where they're doing the right thing with the homeowner. But I think company owners need to let their salespeople have more control with, hey, during the process, if you need to touch base with your customer, we'll let you know what's going on. Not just passing okay, go sell me more. That's a big issue in a lot of roofing companies, and I've seen it a lot of times.
I have too. I recently talked to somebody, I'm going to leave names unknown, but a very large roofing company here in Florida. Let me back up. I did not talk to him. My sales rep did. I was able to listen to the conversation and just, go back and listen to it. And I was struck by exactly what you just said. We're talking somebody puts on, one of the big boys here. And they said, we try to compartmentalize everybody in our company so that the sales rep goes out and sells the job, and then they're done. We have somebody else who takes it from there with permitting, and they're the ones who communicate. Then we have a production, and then we have somebody who chases a check. So we have one person who does each one of those. And, I sat there and I thought about that conversation like you are right now that, if you're somebody and I go out and I put my name to something, if I tell somebody this is who I am and what I represent, I want to make sure it's going to be done correctly. I want to see the damn thing through. I don't think that I would want to be in a company that wouldn't let me have any control over the final outcome. If somebody's unhappy, I don't want them to talk to the production guy. I want to be out there solving the problem for them. But yet in that sort of company like we're discussing, they don't have that ability. They have no autonomy to do what they want to do. And I think that leads to some problems.
Oh, well, that's what I found when I was handling things with a company they were compartmentalized, and so that's difficult for me because I want to take my customer through the whole process, so that when we're all finished, I know, okay, you're happy. Can I get a referral? Everything's great, but knowing the whole process because my name originally they trusted me to sell it.
Trust you.
But
Yeah, and ideally, I would personally want my sales guy to be project managed as well.
That's
he sold it.
absolutely.
He should manage it. Is the way I feel about it.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Charles.
Yes.
It's not just sales guys, sales women too.
Yeah.
And women.
And one.
Sorry, guys.
So, but you don't see that nearly at all because I don't think people have the training and the ability. They're just taking somebody to do door-to-door sales off there. I would challenge sales reps, when you listen to Charles and Z here, they understand roofing, but you don't get that way overnight. It's not like you guys just woke up with roofing knowledge. You had to be on roofs. You had to be at installs. You had to be up there seeing how the process works, doing inspections, being out there with adjusters, all that stuff that takes time. And I think that's what a lot of people don't want to put in this industry. They come in as a sales rep and they go, I just want to go sell roofs and make a bunch of money doing it. Well, it takes time to learn the industry. If you truly want to be a professional at it, then learn to do it the right way. I'll say this, at My Claims Care, a lot of our guys can't put on a roof to save their life. I really can't. If you told me to go put on a roof, I would be very, very lost. We're not the professionals at that. But what we are the professionals at is making sure that our clients get paid. So that's what I always say, is that the roofing contractor should be a professional at their craft. Let somebody else handle how you're going to get paid for that craft, and then you've got some great team action going on there. But you don't see that a lot.
Yep. Well, your salespeople, if they know roofing the way they're supposed to know roofing, I mean, everything flows so smoothly. The company you were just speaking about, what they're doing is they have a sales guy, and that's all he does. That's all he knows. He probably doesn't know a lot about roofing anyway.
Right.
He knows how to sell, obviously, but that's it. If somebody calls him for a question, well, I have to get back with you.
Yeah,
I prefer having somebody on the job that can answer all the questions right then
absolutely.
through experience. They've been there. And that's what I look for when I'm looking to hire. I want somebody with roofing experience. That's great that they can sell, but I want it all combined. I want it all, man.
Do you find it difficult, though, when you bring on somebody with roofing experiences to teach them your way of doing things? Because you have high standards. So someone could come in there with that roofing knowledge and not live up to the standards of Summer Breeze. Do you ever find that to be difficult?
Not recently.
Okay.
I mean, but if we did, and if we couldn't get that person to adapt, it wouldn't be a candidate for us.
And see, I think that's so key, is that what Charles said, if it's not going to work, just get rid of the person. I see roofing, they hold on to people who don't adapt to their culture. They're not all in with your name, and you keep that person around, and that's going to be a toxic environment for your company. You're going to have that person out there walking the streets, knocking on hundreds of doors, representing your name. If something's not going to work, you know it's not going to work. Get rid of the individual. There's no use in trying to carry this thing on, hoping they're going to close 2 more roofs, and that's going to be it. 2 more roofs is not going to make or break your company. If it is, then you're not going to be in business much longer anyway. So find people that identify with your values. Keep those people around. Get rid of the individuals that don't, because you can find somebody else who will definitely be in line with who you are as a person and as a company.
We have proven success with our method. And if they can learn that and adapt to that, that's great. They'll be successful. If they want to run off and do it their way, there's issues there anyway, because why are they looking for a job if their way was so much better? But ours is tried and true.
Yeah.
It works.
It does. It does work.
For us, it works.
Well, I think that it's worked for your customers as well.
Absolutely.
You guys have literally thousands of happy customers across Tampa, Central Florida, that believe in the Summer Breeze name. You've been able to build a brand that is second to none. And I'm excited to see what you guys are able to build as you continue to expand with the brand itself and what Summer Breeze represents.
I think we could take our corporate culture anywhere, and even if we were to rebrand ourselves and our name, but when you have somebody like Charles Dixon and what he does and what he trains all of us to do, you could call us XYZ Roofing, and we would take everything with us, and we would still be the best at Tampa Bay.
No. So Charles, what is it about you then, man? Everybody loves you. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I meet you. I love you. You've met my business partner. We literally were driving back from meeting you guys. He's like, man, that guy is awesome. I want to have a drink with that guy. So what is it about? And you too, Z. I mean, you know everybody too. I mean, you guys are quite. Do you care? I mean, have you always been this way? Do you just care about people? Is there something that happened?
I'm going to answer that first.
Okay.
I'm going to answer that first. He is the real deal. He helps everybody. And he's the guy who, no matter what, is your cheerleader in your corner. He's the guy who knows your ability and will push you to your limits and train you. I mean, I went from a home inspector to almost roofing contractor because he knows I have the capabilities. I carry the ladder. I do the hard work. He's not easy on me, but that's how he treats people. He really is everybody's friend. He's an outstanding moral compass, is higher than anybody that I personally know. but he always makes you be your best. And he's just genuine. You know, when they say be your authentic self, he is his authentic self, which is why he's a positive person to always be around.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's my answer, Patrick.
You want to add anything to that?
What else can you add? I'm wonderful, obviously.
You are.
Well,
You know, I've had, you know, there was days that I wasn't the person I am today.
Sure.
And many years ago, but I decided I didn't like who I was, and I took steps to actually change that, and I did. And I feel much better today about myself than I did years ago, because it was all about me before. But now it's about everybody else, and I'm kind of like the last one on the train.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make sure everybody's okay, and then I'm okay.
That's
Just that kind of person.
He really lives by
My
that.
customers are very important to me, and their job's important to me. I mean, when I walk away, I want them to feel good, because I go in there to do what I say I'm going to do.
So why doesn't roofing have a better a reputation? I mean, we get people like you, Charles, involved with Z, and people like you. What happened along the way with roofing that when people think of that roofing contractor, they may think like somebody's trying to screw me over. They're trying to get one over on me. Where did that change?
I'm going to tell you that very answer. Everybody wants to be a roofing contractor in Florida,
That's
right?
true.
They come out from every other state and they want to land in Florida because we have storms, we have hurricanes, people need a new roof every 15 years. We have different laws. And the amount of sting operations for unlicensed activity in Florida has been wonderful. But here's the problem. Everybody wants to be that roofing contractor. So all of the people who, hey, I'm from Georgia, I can come down to Florida and do roofs. No, you can't unless you're a roofing contractor. But the storms come in, they swell. You got guys on the street. You got the poor homeowners who do not understand. Do not hire an unlicensed contractor. Look at the history. Go to DPBR. Look at that license number. Learn about it. It's just lack of education to the homeowner, which is what we try to explain to the homeowner, that we're a licensed contractor. This is our insurance. This is our workers' comp. These are our bonds, because they don't know the right questions to ask. So we're out there, but I think everybody, who doesn't want to be a roofing contractor in Florida?
But we spoke with John Moeller
That's
earlier this
true.
morning with Brown & Brown Insurance about exactly that.
Love Brown & Brown.
So we were talking with him, and he mentioned that exactly what you just did, that during these large loss catastrophes that happen, there are going to be contractors that show up at your door.
Absolutely.
And they're going to have a fancy truck, or they're going to have a fancy shirt or logo or some iPad, and they're going to look like they know everything about what they're doing. Don't be afraid, though, to ask these individuals, what kind of insurance are you carrying right now?
Right.
Are you licensed in the state of Florida? If you're not asking those questions, which not a lot of individuals know to ask, which
don't.
I wish that homeowners were more educated about it. But when I was talking with him, I was saying that comes from maybe some HOAs being educated. Getting out there.
We can get into that too.
Yeah.
But
Tell me.
HOAs now have a program like Vive, where they're actually, you have to be a vetted contractor through their operations. And the reasons why is because the handymans can't do certain types of work. So they have to get contractors in. It allows them to have the contractor's insurance, workers' comp, plus if they want letters of reference. So HOAs have now really been educated, within I would say probably the past 5 years of what they have to ask for, the work being done, and if we're using a subcontractor agreement. So it really comes down to making everything ironclad. So, I think those are the big components.
I agree with you. The only thing I'll add to that is I see a lot of individuals online, they'll tell you how you can sell, big loss commercial jobs. How do you get the $5 million job? And they'll teach you how to sell it, which is great. My philosophy has always been a little bit different. I came from the HOA and condominium world. I've often thought the best way you could do it is to sell them before the catastrophe ever happens. If you can sit down with somebody and advise them and educate them, their board, their property managers, their management company, about who you are and what you represent, when that catastrophe happens, you won't have to sell anything. You're going to be the person they think of.
Well, you just gave away my secret sauce.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I thought it would be. That's
really,
what I would do. I mean,
well, I do that.
It's not a secret anymore.
It's not a secret anymore, but hurricane preparedness.
okay.
And being able to do a building valuation and property assessment I got the license, might as well use it.
Damn right.
But going out to the HOAs and showing them some of the building envelope and what's going on, so that in their future reserve studies, being able to, hopefully they'll pick Charles as the roofing contractor, or my other guys that I use for HVAC or plumbing. So I do a full beautiful presentation that I show them, and that's exactly part of the package is hurricane preparedness. What you guys have a pool? How are you gonna get that pool equipment out? Then what about putting up the shutters before season comes? Who are you going to call to do that? Do you know how much that costs?
Right.
And so those are things that it's just another way to prepare your customers for, so that you can give them that quality service and that you make those relationships and then keep your word.
Yep.
Very simple.
And not if it happens, it's when.
It's going to
It's
happen.
going to happen in Florida.
It's going to happen.
We're due for something right now. And the sad thing is, the secret that you have,
Yeah.
everybody knows it's a possibility to do that, but everyone wants to take the lazy way out. They just want to deal with the catastrophe once it happens, and then let me go out there and, hey, I'm going to be your man right now. Well, what kind of work are you putting in before this stuff happens with like you say, you're going out there doing a property assessment, taking a look at the roof, explain, hey, I'm a person that you can call, letting them, doing a presentation to the HOA or the condominium association about what their steps are going to be after a loss. Hey, what can you do? Who should you call? What is the timeline going to look like and how this is going to work? Sometimes when you're dealing with roofing, I think that it's the unknown that kills people, because they don't understand it. And you add in insurance on top of that adds another level of anxiety into there. And they don't want to get the raw end of the deal. They don't want to be, no one wants to be that person who gets screwed over in life, whether it be by a girlfriend or boyfriend or a roofing company. You just don't want to be that individual. So I think there's a lot of apprehension, and I think the roofing contractors would do a lot better to take, no one will, because everyone's going to take the lazy way, but to do what you're doing, because that's not the lazy way out. That's the preventative way, and that's how you build a reputation in a community of, hey, we know who to call. This is our person, and then I promise you, when you've done an assessment with those people, and then something happens on another property where that property manager is a manager, they're going to be calling you as well. You're going to be their go-to person for that large loss.
It's kind of like contest prepping, isn't it, Patrick?
Well,
We get
been a
all ready.
long time since I've
we
done
we all got to get ready for the big show.
Long time.
But it took us a long time to get there and to make those sacrifices and prep everything along the way.
Another thing about us, we do a 15-year workmanship warranty as well. Most people are not nowhere near that. They're
No.
good in 5 years. And these out-of-staters, whoever, storm chasers, they'll come in, they'll get a local number to make them look local. And then, they do all these routes they do, and then they leave, go back to the state they came from, and something happens, and it's going to happen. But when it happens, they start calling that number, nobody's answering. And they can't find them. So they bought a brand new roof, paid good money for it, and there's issues, and now they got to pay another contractor to come in here and try to figure out what the problem is.
Well, you can't get it. The person's back in Louisiana, and good luck getting anybody to fix that workmanship. They're not coming back. All they're doing is just getting they want the insurance money out of it. They've gotten the ACV check, which covered more than their cost, because it was probably written out that way, because it was a hurricane, and they're off. They're gone.
They're done.
You don't want to pay them their $2,000 in depreciation. Deal with your problem yourself then, okay? I'm done with you. And so I want to end by talking to you guys about this. You've built a great reputation, but I want kind of going back to what we said with contest prep. You go through this months of doing it. You get up there and you compete, but then it only takes a few days to lose that shape afterwards when you start eating all the cereal and whatever you want. It can be very easy to lose a reputation quickly. You built it over 25 plus years, Charles. Z, you're a part of it as well now, and what your reputation that you guys have. How do you keep the reputation intact? Is it because you're going to make mistakes? Things are going to happen. How does Summer Breeze continue to have this stellar reputation above everybody else?
You fix your mistakes. When the phone rings, you answer it. You go take care of it. Makes them happy again. Don't run from it. Don't hide. Don't answer that. Not answer that phone. That's a killer. But just do what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
And it keeps flowing. Do what's right. Right will come back at you.
And if you make a mistake, and I had one on a custom home I did, my first metal job, I'm super excited. I went to the blueprints. I overlooked the garage. But I was honest, and I had to tell tell the homeowner that I made a mistake, and he still kept me, and I had crew issues, but I would call him every single day and say, this is what's happening every single day, and I would give him it just the way it was, and it turned out to be a beautiful, wonderful custom metal job. But even if you do make a mistake and it happens, you have to have constant contact, because even if I don't have the answer, I'm going to let you know, look, Patrick, I don't have the answer right now, but let me make sure I call you back. And then I make sure I call them back.
Yep.
Communication and follow up.
All day, every day.
One thing we say in our company is don't be afraid to say, I don't know. I think a lot of people get themselves in trouble as a company, when they try to provide answers because they want to be the person who provides the answer. And they get themselves in a little bit of a hole. They make a promise or an assurance that they can't keep. If you're a sales rep out there and you're brand new and you say, we'll take care of that. Well, that one sentence right there, that could be a $2,000 mistake right there. Maybe you're not taking care of that. Maybe the insurance coverage isn't going to cover that, but you don't know. Instead of saying, I'm not sure, let me talk to somebody and let me get back to you on this because I want to give you the right answer. Those little mistakes like that can cost you a reputation. Don't be afraid to say, I'm not sure. I need to look more into that. I need to get the right answer for you. Yeah. That keeps integrity, in my opinion.
Yep. And you'll be tested occasionally. You don't know who, like I said earlier, you don't know who you're talking to. Or you don't know what they know. And sometimes they know what you know. And they'll set you up for a question and see if you come up with the answer. Because they already have the answer. Mm-hmm. They know it. And they're testing you. So don't be trying to shuck and jive on it.
And that goes back to always saying and doing the right thing, because that person might have all the knowledge. They know pricing. They know everything. They know what to look for. So just give them the honest, right answers.
Yeah. In the short term, I think that people try to win with not being honest or not being fully truthful, as I've seen before. Well, I could have told them more about that, but I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But as that builds, as you're not honest right from the beginning on one job, then it turns to 3, and then it turns to 10. And I'm telling you, if you want to be a professional in the industry and have the long-lasting longevity and the great reputation that Summer Breeze does, then you don't want to be looking over your shoulder at the past jobs you've done going, did I do that right? Is that person going to be calling me in 2 years going, this was not the roof that you promised me? And if you can do that, then in my opinion, you can succeed in this industry like you guys have.
I guess then we're succeeding.
Yeah, I know you guys are. I mean, I know the reputation you have, and I'm proud to be partnered with you guys at some level right now as people and as a company. With that in mind, any final words about Summer Breeze and what the future holds for you guys in the next couple months?
Well, Patrick, like I said, we enjoy what we do, and whether we kick around some names and things that we might expand on in the future in different areas. Mm-hmm. But it's
in the very near future.
The very near future, which just takes what we have and bringing it to just doing a different type of branding process that we're thinking about right now in the very near future. So
that's great.
We're there.
Charles?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what we do, our philosophy with the roofing business will remain the same. I mean, we're the same people. I mean, if we change the name or whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, our philosophy will always be the same. Customer's always first. They're not always right, but they're always first. I care about them.
Well, you guys have done something right, and you have, like I say, a stellar reputation in the industry as people, Charles, both of you, and as a company. And we're excited to see what you guys do over the next months and the years to come as you grow and expand. Because as you guys grow, it's better for the industry, because we need more companies like Summer Breeze. But you guys definitely stand out.
Patrick.
You stand out above the rest. With that in mind, we're going to lunch because I'm starving. Let's get out of here.
Bye.
Let's go.